foo-foo bike, kids bike, beginner bike, chick bike, the Yamaha TTR-230. So why in the world would I buy one of these as a guy who's been riding since the 80s and I have a 21 YZ250X? Well, because this thing is really fun to ride. We have a lot of riverbeds here where I live, and the YZ is not the most fun bike to ride. This bike is super low maintenance. Just like, so for example, just like now, I got done doing stuff in my yard and I wanted to go for a ride, and I chose this because I just put gas in it and I went. Sometimes I just want to go putt around and look at stuff. And this bike works great when you're riding with your kids. I can ride as slow as I want. I'm not worried about getting too hot with the liquid cooling. I'm not worried about fouling a plug, which has happened on my YZ. And the big thing is the seat height's nice and low. I can actually touch the ground and I'm very comfortable on it, which makes my confidence just go through the roof. And so if you're not familiar with these, they've been making them forever. I heard a tree snap. I'm like, I don't want to have a bear come out. What the heck? I think I want to get out of here. I had to portal out of there. New location with lots of sight lines. So I keep an eye out for any bears. Check out the tracks that I ran across. I don't want to run into what made these tracks. So that said, what you have is a carburetor, which was a feature that I wanted. You got manual choke. I like that. It's right here. It's not a cable that can get gritty up on the handlebar. There's your idle. There's see that tube right there? There's like a little like aluminum plug. You can drill that out if you want to adjust your mixture, which I thought I would do. This thing's a bit cold-blooded, but today it's warm. It's like 60-some degrees, and it warmed right up and I didn't have any issues. Before, when I was riding earlier this week and it was in the 50s, it took a while for it to warm up. This is your cam adjustment. If you're familiar with Japanese air-cooled 4-stroke motors, this is, to me, this is the pinnacle of reliability here with the technology. One of the big features I like is it's not a performance thing, it's a maintenance thing. You've got a 2-valve head, and all I need to do to adjust the valves is pop those covers off. And with a feeler gauge, a screwdriver, and a wrench, I can adjust the valves. And if you've ever done it with the shim and bucket style, you have to get the right shims. I hate it. It's a pain in the ass, and I just like that. Another feature I liked, it has a window so you can check your oil level just by tipping the bike. And I want to change my oil. I just put this hour meter on, 2.6 hours, but I actually have more hours on it than that. I don't have a ton of hours, but I'm gonna change the oil tonight. It has an actual real oil filter. My Honda, which kind of surprised me, you know, Honda has always held to that really high, like kind of the highest standard. Their oil filter looked like a thimble, and it looked like screen door. It was, you know, it's metal screen, but it was like, I'm exaggerating, but I don't know, not really. It was like screen door screen, you know, that size. I'm like, I guess it'll catch the big chunks. It was easy to take it. I'd hose it out with brake cleaner, throw it in. This actually has a proper oil filter. It's a metal type, very fine mesh. Says you can clean it, but it's got a steel end. You know, it's like a barrel with a steel end on one side and a hole. I don't know really how well you'd be able to clean that. Anyway, I just bought 2 of them when I picked the bike up, and I'll just throw a new one in. They're not that expensive. Let's see what else about the thing. I like, as we're looking at the motor, it's a bummer it doesn't have a kickstart. I don't know why they're going to that way. But it's electric start, and it's been, I mean, it's brand new. I wouldn't expect to have any problems with it. Anyway, so it's electric start, so it's kind of nice. I had a Honda XR250 back in, I had an 87 model, and then I think I had an 87 or 88 XR200. I really like those bikes. They were kickstart, so the 250 was kind of a pain to start. Anyway, the electric start's really nice if you stall it in a creek or on a side hill, just fires right up. Little feature I like to see, it has Zerks on both the swing arm pivots. That was super cool. It actually has a linkage on the rear shock. It's got a folding tip for the brake lever. My CRF didn't have that, which is kind of a bummer. The foot pegs fold, so that's nice. If you dump it over, you're not going to bend your foot peg. I like the snail type adjusters for the rear, for the chain. Those are really easy to keep your chain in adjustment. And about the chain, check this out, O-ring chain. Like even less maintenance, just awesome. The tires work great. They're these Pirelli MT320. They work great for my terrain. Drum brake, you know, not crazy about a drum brake, but honestly, it works just fine. I don't have any complaints. You know, it's got good and bad. Yeah, is it as great for feel as a disc? No. But then on the other hand, where I have been riding this bike, I don't have to worry about banging a disc off a rock or laying it over on top of a rock or something. So this bike is totally stock. I'm gonna leave it that way. When I bought my CRF 230 like 10 years ago, and I went and did a bunch of changes to it to try to basically kind of make it into something it really wasn't, and uncork it and all that. I lost what made it so great in that it was hard to stall, and it was really easy to ride on really tight technical trails, and that's what this thing is right now. So I'm just gonna leave it alone. The only thing I'm going to change on it, something I noticed, is the handlebars are a bit low. I did have this pad. It didn't come with a pad. And so when I'm standing, I want them a little bit taller, so I just ordered a new set of handlebars that have a little bit more rise. And when that comes in, and then I will also put on like bark busters to protect the levers when I drop it, so I don't bust those. And that'll be the extent of what I do to this bike. Grips are really nice with the half waffle. Nice, they have a nice texture to them. Your starter button's right here, kill switch is here. This is something I really like. There is no key. I like that. So you go out in the yard, you know, oh crap, forgot my key, you gotta go back inside the house and get it. Or worse yet, you go to a riding area, forget your key, and you know how that goes. There's just a button. So when you do kill it at the end of the day, I've just made a habit of using this to turn the bike off most of the time, because if you leave it on, I guess it can drain the battery. So just make sure you turn it off. And the red light shows you. Back to the engine. Another big feature I like, along with the O-ring chain, as far as we're talking drivetrain here, it's a 6-speed. It's got a creepy crawly first gear. It's awesome. Coming over here, there's a creek, all these rocks, because you know I'm next to the ocean, and they have algae. I call them slime rocks. They're kind of awful, and you can just slowly chug across those and have full control of your power. So, and then with the sixth gear, I don't notice it. Like if you're riding down a gravel road trying to get somewhere, or in a ditch where it's smooth and you can go fast, it's not winding out. So it's a lot of neat features, you know. Another thing I like about the bike is it comes with full-size wheels. So you got your 21-inch front, 18-inch rear, so you got a huge selection of tires you can choose from. And then you're getting a benefit of the larger diameter, so it actually helps it ride better, and then the capability that comes with having bigger diameter wheels that they roll over stuff rather than to fall into holes. It's got enough clearance that I can go with the wider front tire, and same on the back. And that's actually what I plan on doing, even though there's nothing wrong with these tires. I actually want to get some wider ones so I have a little more float for the riding areas that I have. I think that'll be I think that'll be a good modification to make the bike more capable. Naturally, it comes with a kickstand, folding tip shift lever, the clutch, cable adjustment. No issues there. I like that it has. These are kind of saw these like on bikes from the 70s and the 80s, but it's really nice because that keeps the grip from getting in the cable, seals it up. Your forks, 36 millimeter fork, which that's what my XR200 had back in, like I say, in the 80s when I had that one. And you know, it's funny, you get all wrapped up in a performance, and I can't say that I've noticed like, oh, they're like a noodle, they're flexing. It rides really, really good over through the gravel, through the rocks, in the riverbeds. It bottoms out. You ride it too fast, it'll bottom out. But and there's no adjustments. So I believe it's damper rod fork, which is really basic. So I think you either go stiffer springs, or you could raise the height of the oil, or go with the thicker oil. It rides good enough for what I'm using it for. It hasn't really caused me any concern right now. So the rear shock is better than the front. I found it, of course, yeah, it's not really fair because this bike's 18 years newer than that Honda TTR-230 I have, but this bike rides better. And part of that is it actually has a seat that's cushy. That Honda, my brother's got one too. That Honda seat has all the ride quality of a freaking 2x4. It's terrible. You got your front disc brake, and that works really, really well. It's got good feel. You've got another feature I really liked is you've got a 2.1 gallon tank. So I've ridden this thing like 4 hours, you know, and that's not wide open riding naturally, but just riding trails and that, and I haven't run out of gas. I haven't even hit reserve. Reserve, what? That's right, it's got reserve, which is awesome. If you run out of gas, you flip reserve, and you know you got to get home or back to the truck or whatever you need to do. So one of the things I didn't like about the Honda with the fuel injection, the 250F, is it has a light that comes on when you're low on gas. Like, are you gonna notice that? I don't know, maybe. We did notice yesterday, I was riding with my daughter, and the fender on here actually protects better from mud. I was cleaner than she was when she was on the 230F. Oh boy. Really nothing else to I think I covered it pretty well. You've got a tubular steel bash guard under the motor, and actually has little rubber cushions. And I was looking at getting an aluminum skid plate, and then they actually replaced that, and I'm not really stoked on doing it. And then you get that noise coming from the aluminum skid plate. So I actually have a piece of plastic that I've got a heat gun. I'm gonna contour it so it fits that stock metal guard, and clamp it on there, and that's what I'm gonna run. I think that's gonna work pretty well. Okay guys, I think I've covered this thing pretty well. If you have any questions, leave me comments below, and I'll have some videos of this thing as I get into the summer and I'm riding around. I'm looking forward to it. All right, that's all for now. Thanks for watching.